power. People wey suppose talk true to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai. Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun làwọn mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. I bet it's a Sunday wherever you are as well. So, welcome to the Sunday sermon with Maiyegun today.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀.
Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, you need to share the broadcast. Invite others too. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends and tell them that Maiyegun today. Now, share it.
Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Maiyegun diary, diary politico. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Godfatherism, kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o, kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Maiyegun diary.
Thank you, thank you. Now, see what we are doing in Lagos. Thank you very much. I miss you too. I missed last night, by the way, because I traveled down to Manchester to go and see two big uncles of mine that I haven't seen for decades. Can you believe that? So luckily they converged in London for a family program. I couldn't make that, but luckily for me, they were coming midway. So we met in Manchester. Even when we were parking somewhere in Manchester, when I was parking, right? Somebody came out, we were looking for where to eat on Moston Lane. So when we're parking, a man walked out of a shop and it was like, don't sell food to this Odogbolu. He's not a friend of Tinubu. He's always, criticizing Tinubu and all of that. So we just laughed. But fair enough, I don't know if he's watching. He ended up being the one to take us to the place. So yeah, I missed you all. But it was for something good too. So I am back. While they were dancing in Lagos, yeah, the terrorists that are Boko Haram members who were locked up at the Kirikiri maximum and the medium prison in Lagos received their amnesty codedly while everyone danced away. Meanwhile, still share the broadcast. Thank you. Thank you. Meanwhile, if there is any kind of audio interruption, okay, suddenly my voice just dead, please raise the alarm. I'll be staring at my screen, the screen in front of me, by the way. So if you have read the caption of this broadcast, somehow you should have digested it, because you might have a chance of having your own say too. They say there is fire on the mountain. There is fire on the mountain top. Everybody run, run, run. When fella said run, oh, now that is what you have to do. You know what? There has been so many underhand, behind the scene efforts to ensure that those who have committed these heinous crimes of terrorism against the people of Nigeria, there is this effort to ensure that they will never, ever stand justice. Now, I don't know what that means to you, but I can tell you this free of charge. It has further helped in escalating, right? And in fact, aggravating already, already shaky country. It has now aggravated the insecurity, and that puts every one of us in the danger of what they are doing. That is why I said, I don't know what that means to you. But let me tell you what they did. In 2009, the government of Nigeria, in their usuals, they raided few states in northern Nigeria as the people suspected to be members of Boko Haram. This was 13 years ago. But in their usual way, they locked them all up, 164 of them, from states like Borno, Kano, Bauchi, and one other like that. So they were held in different prisons up north for those period. No trial, no nothing. Then their courts in northern Nigeria freed them of whatever. the act of a terror or being a member of a Boko Haram terrorist group. Fast forward to 2013, the Nigeria government under Goodluck Ebere Jonathan moved every one of them, 164 of them, down to Lagos. I don't think you are aware, are you? Were you aware of them? Been in Lagos for the past 9 years. No? Well, they've been. Now, it's going to get interesting. Just relax. Now, for these 9 years that they have been in Lagos, yeah, they have been more or less like the holding cell for the potential terrorist attack in Yoruba land, Western Nigeria. However, nobody knew that they were there until recently. Now, for that 9 years, according to the report, a lot of them died, and they could only account for 104 of them. But as they were in Kirikiri prison, yeah, their own sponsors, the leaders, the financiers of Boko Haram terrorism in Nigeria, they never forgot any one of them. None of them was forgotten. Until recently, when there is need to do that. Now, let's now just take a leap back again, not forward, back again to 2015. The Boko Haram terrorist in 2015 was holding the northeast of Nigeria at a old choke, to the point that one of the questions people were asking was, what happened to the people arrested and linked to the terrorism? What happened to their trial? What happened to their prosecution? Nothing. You know why? Under Goodluck Jonathan, there was no law on terrorism at all at the time. So they had no whatever to try them with. So 2015, APC, Egbeke came. In one of their promises, they said, if you want to end terrorism in Nigeria, you would first need to deal with the sponsor of terrorism. That was what they told you, because that was easy. I mean, if they are coming to expose the sponsor of terrorism, that should be hope or change. That was 2015. When they came in, few of these terrorists were going through trials then for their crimes. When APC, Egbeke came in, they halted everything. Then they started a backdoor program that they called Operation Safe Corridor. That is a bold intention to say, we are not here to try any of these guys for their crimes. No, they didn't stop there, by the way. No, they didn't. They started offering them a disguised amnesty called rehabilitation. Yeah? And that opened a different door. In this industry, terrorist industry that they have finally brought in, trial of terrorists, no, forget it. Oh, the victims of the terrorism, oh, they are still in the IDP camps. And whatever is due them have been allocated, but they never get to them. Now, that is the part of the malady. But guess what? The terrorists are never going to be tried. I mean, you know, they have laid down their arms. They've surrendered. So what else do you want? International practice says once they have surrendered, then you don't beat a dead horse. Oh, fear statements. But how come that in 7 years of APC, over 69,000 terrorists have repented, according to them, according to their data. And they're so proud of that. 69,000 repentant terrorists who once lived in the forest, raised arms, and destroyed lives and properties of Nigerians. But none of them could give a hint to who is their sponsor, and then how this could end. Rather, it has become a bigger and bigger and bigger industry that continue to what? To suck your blood. Now let's go back to Kirikiri. The news broke that Boko Haram's government have released 101 terrorists, because out of the 104 that they are able to account for now, 3 of them are dead, accounted for. Out of the 101, 6 of them don't run mad. Of course, because the government of Nigeria, according to the courts, their contact with the rest of the world, including their family, almost 10 years ago. 6 are mad, but they have been released. And the drama of their release is even kind of a more shady. Do you know they are denying it now? Okay. Now, this is what happened. Let's go back to the story of Abuja-Kaduna Railway, because this is what led to their release. From the insider, in that same Kirikiri, for those who have lived with them and living with them until the last 2 days, they said the Kaduna attack, they are aware of that already at Kirikiri, courtesy of these guys, before it happened at all. Then the Kuje prison break, they are already aware of that. They just didn't give dates, according to them. The source inside that same Kirikiri, right? Now, same thing, their release, according to those who are also inside that same prison. The source said, well, they've been bragging about it. They said they were going to leave by October, because they know if they are not released by October, if they are not released by Buhari, another person that may come in may not be their tribesman. Do you get that now? And that may be a lost complete battle for them until they are all dead. But with what they are doing on the ground, they must be released in October. Now that is not reported. Do you know that? 101. So they said when they kidnapped the Kaduna Abuja rail passengers. Thank you. Sorry. I think, if you have, if the audio is acting up, please let me know. I'm glad that I quickly got that. Yeah. Fair enough. Is it better? Thank you. Yeah, let's check. Right. I think it's much better again, isn't it? Thank you. So the whole plot, as many of you are currently in the mood of what do you call your charade election and all that, right? The devil, as they say, comes in the night and it plants the seed. It plants the death, plants every other thing that will eventually besiege you in the morning. Thank you very much. The moment you notice that the audio is a little bit off, within 30 seconds, I can bring it back up again, okay? Because I can see the comment. So thank you. I think I should get myself a headset as well so that I can hear myself if the sound is off or not. But anyway, thank you. 101 terrorists who have been living in Lagos for 9 years, and they have been in contact with their sponsor and their other members across Nigeria, have finally been released. And Nigerian government, the Nigerian army, today, they are denying it. We have names. Oh, let me see if I can bring this onto your screen and we can see them together. Look at this. Let me see if I can get that on. This is a report by the, FIJ, right? FIJ is the, what do you call it? I think they are called the Federal Institute of Journalism. I'm not sure, but they are called the FIJ. In their report, they are good at this. Okay, if you check your screen, let me see if I can get that those names up. Now, look at all these names. These are the names of the terrorists that they have released. A country that is battling with this level of terrorism and all of their efforts over the years are not to really end the act of terror, but to maintain the terror as long as they are the ones controlling the terror. Now, the terrorists the people who promised to end terrorism have now taken charge to free terrorists. Now, they call it amnesty. I mean, come on, right? Now, I'll read few names. If you have the chance, you can read with me. Now, these are the names of those they have released, but they are denying them right now. We have Muhammad Adamu, Malam Haji, Muhammad Buka, Kachala, Humar, and the list on and on like that. Alaji, Alaji Abubakar, Abdul Wahid Ibrahim, Baba Gana. Now they've all received amnesty. This is after the negotiation for the final release, of the release of the final 23 Kaduna Abuja or Abuja-Kaduna railway passengers kidnapped since the 28th of March 2022. Now, remember that the negotiator, the person negotiating for the release of the terrorists, Mamu Tukor, is under arrest as well. According to the report of their own report, the terror of March 28 along Abuja-Kaduna Railway did not just claim the lives of innocent people that day and after as well, right? It also drained the resources, the life savings, the inheritance, everything of the families of the victims. These terrorists made billions. I was analyzing before. I said they made over 1.4 billion. No. They have reported now that they actually made over 3 billion naira on this Kaduna Abuja passengers then. Now, what now happened was that they made a deal with Nigeria that all of their detained members, leaders, must be released if they want them to release the captive, the Nigerian kidnapped victims here, yeah? Now, that is something that because Nigeria is being run like a, like a cabal or like what do you call it? Like a racket. They just paved the way for the terrorists to break into the medium security prison in Abuja, where all security personnel were stand down. The guys came in, released over 600 to 700 prisoners, and today over 400 of them are nowhere to be found. That's part of the deal. In fact, some of the Abuja-Kaduna rail passengers kidnapped also said a day after the Kuje prison break, some of these leaders who escaped from Kuje prison, they came straight to the camp where they were keeping them. And they said, well, some of you are going to regain your freedom soon. And they said, well, they celebrated the freedom of their leader. That happened though. It happened though. I'm still coming to where this actually concerns you when they talk about this insecurity. And sometimes you brush aside all this, right? Now, tomorrow, you are going to call on God. Why did he let this happen to you or to the people you love? Why did God let this act of terrorism? Why, God? Hopefully, you will never have to witness this. And if you ever find yourself in that situation, maybe my voice will be ringing bells in your head, reminding you that terrorists were being freed without any explanation. Their data, names, faces are unknown. Their whereabouts are unknown. And you are comfortable because they promise you Nigeria is going to be great. All you need to do is to believe them and trust them. So they stood down the security of Kuje prison. You know the story. Those terrorists freed are back in their camps. And they are not being looked for. You know that. Nobody is looking for them. Because what's the essence of looking for them? There's no plan of prosecuting them. There's no data to check and see how many of them actually repented indeed and can be traced and say, oh, yeah, we still saw him yesterday. You remember this story, the Boko Haram terrorist that served 10 years in jail. He is now he's been rehabilitated. He is now a professor in University, Ahmadu Bello University, teaching about terrorism and what do you call it? I'm just saying something that you can relate with. Nothing. Just all blank shit until you become a victim. Now, right there in the heartland of Lagos, that same 2015, the US CIA, FBI, in their reports, detailed reports warned us of the incursion and invasion of the southern Nigeria by the Jamaatul Islamiyah fighter terrorist Boko Haram, who are also known as ISWAP, that they were going to, in fact, they are coming down south. That was 2015. So the people who have no plan, government of Nigeria have no plan of prosecuting any of these guys for their crimes. And in fact, they have no plan of squeezing them of any information that could put an end to the risk and danger that is lurking around you as you are watching me right now, because you know it. You are prone to that danger. And it can strike anytime. You know that. So that gave me a goosebump that wow. So if they were not released, there could, there could have been possibility of, jailbreak in Lagos. And that could easily have sent enough shivers down your spine, because as you know, it's never going to be something you've seen before as well. But look at it that way. 101 terrorists are now on the bus or wherever they are using to transport them to wherever they are transporting them to, and there is no data on who did what and why. The last time they appeared in court, by the way, it was in that same Lagos, where they were arguing that if they were to have been prosecuted for whatever they were arrested for, by now they would have served their time. You know what I mean? Because when they were arrested, there was no law, anti-terrorism law or this or that in place, so they could not be prosecuted under the law that that were made after their arrest. You know what I mean now? So logically, so they argued, you know what, for the sake of national security and what these guys actually were involved in, they court threw out the argument, only for Buhari to secretly sign them out. 69,000 repentant terrorists in Borno, northeast of Nigeria alone. And you don't even have their names. You have no clue about them. They are living there as part of the industry they have created. So keep the names. If you see have them on your screen, I'll bring them back on. And then you can screenshot them and keep them for yourself. For those of you who will likely run into them, hire them as your security guards. Hire them as your farmhand and the rest of those. Hire them for whatever you know you believe may give you any kind of sense of, patriotism or nationalism. But guess what? Just have an idea of the people you are bringing around. Now, this is not helping. You know that. They said Buhari have to release all of them, or else they don't believe that, because number one, they are never going to be prosecuted. There's no plan in jailing terrorists in Nigeria. Do you know that? There's no plan. None. So I just thought you should, in a way, if you have if you still have any sort of, a mind of yours to just picture Picture what this is in reality when that reality is down on you. Somebody said, can we not, or can we? I didn't get that, Femi Tai. Can we not upload their names on social media, or can we please upload their names on social media? I think I would rather go with the latter. We should let everybody know. Do you know that normally, if you go on to these crime fighters, there's this web called a crime fighter. Do you get that now? Crime fighters, right? If you go online, I think, I don't know the exact web, right? And you want to know the names of criminals who have come under the net or the dragnet of the authority of different countries. Now, you are not there. You are not from there, okay? Don't worry. You are not from there. But you want to know, like in the US, in the UK, you know that. Especially those who have committed act of terrorism, act of terror. Do you get that now? Like, oh, somebody had somebody on the road and they stabbed them. And eventually they have been arrested and they are to be prosecuted and all that, right? You see, that kind of data, they are available on the net all over the world, including those who have committed act of terror and they are dead. You will see them out there. But in Nigeria, that is proud to have 69,000 repentant terrorists. You have no data of these terrorists because there is no plan of letting you know them. There's no plan of because you see, if they have plan of letting you know them, they will prosecute them. They will have their data. They will have their biometrics and everything. Abi, that's how you do if you want to keep your citizens safe. No be so? Not in Nigeria, where it is where it is vibes and inshallah. God knows best. God is the one. God will guide us. But right before your eyes, you are seeing the handiwork of humans. Devils in humans. And their actions are coming back to haunt you, even if you are living in denial of it. You have no data of these guys. You don't even know their names. You don't know their faces. They are everywhere. And that is why the people that were arrested for act of terrorism in Nigeria, under the same Nigerian government, in this same democracy, people that were put under surveillance, today, they are party leaders in APC. They are religious leaders in northern Nigeria. And they are still there, revered, respected, while they continue to spread their own, their what do you call it, their terror ideology that is enveloping all of us today. So Nigeria has no plan of punishing terrorists, and that is dangerous, no matter which side of the coin you are right now. That puts everyone in the danger that if you are actually like honest with yourselves, you will never want to be seen to be associated with a system that actually like institutionalize this. They institutionalize the danger and put you in the dark where you could be, you could be the next victim anytime. It doesn't matter where you are or who you are. And that's the reality today. So I don't know. Think about that. I'll make of that whatever you think as well. So there is this part, the obedient. Una don't provoke what is now the should I call it your campaign strategy now? Usually what we used to experience were to see your Lord and Saviors, the savior of the Manors in Nigeria, eating agbado here, changing diapers for babies there, or plating women here, there, or doing one or two things that makes them be like they are part of you, or, jumping on Okada and other stuff. But all of a sudden, start waiting, you call the 1 million man match, 10 million man match, until you have provoked the base of the establishment. And today, MC Olueron is headlining for Tifnumbu in Lagos. I'll show you a few clips, okay? But it is what it is. If it is where your bread is also being buttered in a way, you're going to be feeling elated, won't you? I mean, in this life right now, people still put on their APC, a t-shirt, and they are still shouting APC. And you are also, in a way, thinking that there is actually hope for Nigeria. Obedient said they have hope for Nigeria. But when it comes to Lagos, and you have to force them to show to you that this is Lagos, then I believe that something is kind of pushing too, Abi. So, and that's where MC Olueron comes in today in Lagos. Let's take a peep.
Aṣíwájú for president yo. Taking power kò sí ẹ̀ mọ́. Aṣíwájú for president yo. Ìyà ń jẹ wa kò sí ẹ̀ mọ́. Ìtọ́jú dìde. Aṣíwájú for president yo. Taking power kò sí ẹ̀ mọ́. Aṣíwájú for president yo.
We want and all that stuff, yeah? So I know some of you, you know what they call you? They say you be bad belle. Abba. So if MC Olueron lead the march, does that mean that he's leading the marching of Agberos? Come on, man. Agbero, oh, come on. If that should be the Agberos in Lagos, ha. Wow. That's why they say you be bad belly. Let me show you the closer marking. Something closer. This one. I maintain order and all of that stuff. Me, I've told people, I said, listen, if Tifnumbu is contesting to be president of Lagos, I mean, it's better he goes unopposed, Abby. Just saying. But they say, you know, it's like you constantly want to make them prove to you, right? That this Lagos, this same one, Una Konye Konde, you know, all that stuff. So it's going to get interesting that the Ashiwaju is back in Nigeria. So we'll talk more about that later tonight as well. There is this somebody who is now the attack dog for Tifnumbu.
We are approaching 2023. Some in the Southwest, specifically Bola Tinubu, believes that his party will field him. I will tell you this today. He has made the biggest mistake of his life. They will not support him. Their position is to keep the presidency in the North. And even if he manages to clinch the nomination for the APC, they will now shift their support to another party that will field a Northern candidate. Mark what I'm telling you today, because I've been right 9 times out of 10 when it comes to these predictions. I've been right. And I'm telling you, I'll be proved right again. That is the mess that we're in this country. So your aspirations are legitimate. You have every right to have an Igbo president. It will be a good thing for this country, for the people of the East, and indeed for the people of Africa.
Africa. You know, that's Mr. Femi Foni Kayode, or for Food Kayode. But, you know, it is politics, as they say. He is hired. And he has to do his job. He's going to be telling you why Tifnumbu is the best. Because they have the best hands to tell you all that. I mean, I don't know if you've heard his partner too. This one will tell you what you think too.
All our handles online, our supporters online. We have never done so. 80% of the other people's campaign is concentrated on demonizing Asiwaju. They are not selling their candidates. They wait for us to push and begin to demonize. Whereas for us, 80% of our own campaign is to sell our candidates, and 20% perhaps is to fend off criticisms of our candidates. But the others, it's the other way around. For them, they use only 10% or 20% of their time to try to sell what is not there. For instance, and it is very significant, I want Nigerians to notice this very well, that for one of the candidates, there's really nothing to sell. He only hangs on to the achievements of his boss, because he has never been, like my boss said here, at the will. He has never, I said this statement one time at another forum, and they thought I was joking, but now people are beginning to really understand that one of the candidates have never really been in charge of any part of any tier of government, and he wants to be president. He has never been tested and trusted. Even when he was chairman of Economic Council, when he was vice president, he was still reporting to a boss. Yeah, but no, hold on, let me finish. I just want to finish. No, but you asked a question. Yeah. It's like, let me add to what my boss said here. You want to take a driver, you want to now, interview people for the position of a driver. A conductor comes, so say I was a conductor throughout during my time. Another one say I actually drove the vehicle. That is the situation we are saying. One is a conductor, he never drove the vehicle. You only hear that it was Obasanjo Atiku regime. What's the meaning of that? Were you in charge? There's nothing like, there was even no Obasanjo Atiku regime. And throughout that 8 years, he was belligerent, disobedient. He was never part of that government. In fact, at the point he left. I'm not being honest. So how do you now compare yourself to somebody who drove a vehicle for 8 years? You say you were a conductor. You were sitting by the door as a conductor.
according to Keyamo, Atifku was a conductor, now applying to be a driver. I mean, a conductor can be a driver too. I mean, you can be a driver and be you see, it's just all this. That's their politics, by the way. So more of that later tonight. I said something about the oil theft 2 days ago, if you remember. Yeah, where everybody's acting surprised. There's something I'm going to share with you. Let me see if I can bring that up as quick as possible. Okay. So while I go find that, let's go take a peep to the rally in Lagos today, led by MC. I'll be back. I'm coming back to show you something.
Good morning, everyone. What you are witnessing is the start of the pro-Tinubu support rally. The pro-Tinubu rally organized by the chairman of Lagos State Parks and Garages, in person of Mr. Akinsoya. I will try to zoom in now for you to see him in the crowd. He's waving the APC flag at us. The rally has just commenced here live at Barracks Ojuelegba. You can see pro-Tinubu supporters in their numbers marching to show support for the APC presidential candidate. Head me down. What's that mean now? Okay. Sorry for the break in transmission. Yeah. So we are live. As you can see, I will try as much as possible to zoom for you to see. The rally is being led by...
Sorry for the poor quality of that video, by the way. So we were saying something about the oil theft in Nigeria. Let me just remind you quickly so that I can give you this update too. Like, Nigeria, they said, is losing over 700,000 barrels of crude oil every day. Okay? Which means people were tapping the pipeline. I'll tell you what that procedure simply means, okay? There are oil companies, the oil rigs that you have in the Delta, right? In the Niger Delta region, are mostly owned by different oil companies. So in their different locations, they have capacity of what they are extracting daily. Now, in all this extraction and all that, there are pipelines that take them from the point of extraction. Now, from that point of extraction, then they have this other They have this other I think they call it Trans African pipeline. They have a word for it. I can't remember the actual name for it. Now, that pipeline is all the extracted crude oil that they are now pumping to other Africa, especially Niger Republic, as they are like moving that way. Now, there are people who have access to, who knows where all these pipes pass through. Okay. So a country that has the capacity, when you say capacity is like all of the extraction combined from everywhere. They said Nigeria's capacity of 2.3 million barrel of crude oil every day. Not be every month, every day. Now, since this APC came in, that production has dwindled. You won't believe it. At some point, the total oil production capacity of Nigeria, the oil that Nigeria is actually like selling out, was put at less than 800 barrels a day. What happened to the rest? What was going on? Like, you and I cannot just carry buckets and open tap and start taking crude oil. No be so. Who are those taking this crude oil in this large amount? Who are the owners of the vessel? Who are those who are actually supervising the water? Then who are those monitoring the pump? Including Nigeria, thank you. Who are those for example, Abi, let's say we pump oil and you know the pressure in the pipe. You have the pressure pump that will tell you this oil that we are pumping at this force is the total amount of this oil, Abi. So if there is any low pressure somewhere that is being drawn before, you know what I mean, that it's been tapped, the gauge, the measure, Abi, what they call a meter, will actually tell, in my own opinion, should tell that something is wrong with this, Abi. Of course, the meter, maybe they don't remove them because they know. I'll tell you this. Put it this way. They now came out after giving a contract to a militant leader, Tompolo, to help them guide all those pipelines and put his boys there so that if there are people, because you know why? Nigerian oil production has been like cut into more than half. And that has affected Nigeria's credit standing too, because money no too come in anymore. The rest of that oil, 750,000 barrels every day, is being stolen. Do you know something? There's a change in that data too. Before this APC, Egbeke came in, we had it on record though. They said oil theft in the Niger Delta, which is Bunkering, breaking of pipeline, punch and all that stuff. They said Nigeria was losing over 50,000 barrels a day, every day. When APC Egbeke came in, that jumped to 200. From 200, it jumped straight to 400. From 400,000, it jumped to over 600. Today, they are talking about almost 800,000 barrels a day. So Tompolo became the security guard. And suddenly, they started discovering the pipelines where they've tapped them. And we are investigating the people who are tapping this oil. And who are those who are buying them? How did they take them? Do you know what 250,000 barrels mean? And do you know that 250,000 barrels a day? They said, now, they found a spot. That's what happened. They found a spot. A spot they found, they said that one has capacity of pumping out 250,000 barrels every day, like free tap. You know, get machine, you don't get anything. Just go put welder, you get welder. And then pipes and all that, you attach them and you weld them together. That's it. And you start pumping. Whenever they pump oil from all of the oil rigs, now you go just fetch oil with your bucket, Abi. So everybody is surprised. Hey, they say it's been there for 9 years. So do you think they were taking buckets? They are using bucket to take the oil. They were using vessel. So if you have a spot that is pumping 250,000 barrels of your oil, 250,000, and you know feel them for 9 years. Look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would be 500, 500, Okay, let's put it this way. If you divide 3 million by 250, you will get how many? You get 12. That would be like a 12 days. I'll be 10 days. Put it at 12 days at 250,000 barrels every day being stolen. Now, do you know that to steal that kind of oil, you need this kind of a machine? Now, this is where it's going to make a bit sense to you now. And all this, hey, thank you, Buhari. Thank you for exposing it. He's been there for 9 years. They were stealing 50,000, what have you, before APC came in. Between 2015 and 2022, they are now stealing over 750,000 barrels a day. Thank you, Buhari, for discovering after 7 years. Hello? Look at this. It will take you this. According to someone who according to somebody who is in the know of how this oil industry actually works, yeah, they said that you will need this kind of tanker. It is a 3 million tanker vessel, as they say. And if you are pumping 250,000 barrels of crude oil into it every day, it will take you 12 days to load this vessel. And if you now have to sell each barrel at $100 per barrel, that simply means that, you will be having a crude oil worth 300 million naira in 10 days. 10 days, you will fill up this tanker with 3 million liters at 3 million barrels at $100 per barrel. This is a $300 million trip every 10 days. And this is what has been going on in the last 9 years. Or put it this way, especially in the last 3 years. This is what you need. Now tell me, as you are watching this video, should that ship look like Keke Napep, Abi Keke Marua, that you can sneak in and sneak out of Nigeria water, and there is no navy, no security, nothing, not even the locals saw them, and you believe that? So in order to show off the discovery where everybody is so surprised, the NNPC, Shina chairman, they use, I've been a president, I've been a director. He put up this spectacle, a media show off. We are so surprised. Thank you, Buhari. Thank you, Tompolo.
Is there anything you want to tell us? Let's go to serious, sir. I want you to just ask a question. Okay, so just to ask you, you said you've noticed that this was on the line. How long do you think this has been? When did you notice this?
Okay, we just noticed it on last weekend.
Okay, last weekend. But so if you look at this 24 inches pipeline,
yes,
you can see that because of the coatings,
yes,
it has not rusted. So it tells you the capacity and the nature of this kind of pipe. Now, if you look at this,
yeah,
this is not something that happened 1 year ago. From the rusty nature of the nuts, bolts, and all of that, it doesn't look like anything that has happened less than 7 to 10 years. If you look at the rustiness of this, and
you can't say it.
okay, so but it's not 1 year. It can be 1 year rustiness.
By
I am so surprised. We are so surprised. My friend, come off it. Drop that pretense. You are not surprised. Don't act surprised. It is Nigeria, Abi. It's just that it is the first time you are seeing it on camera, and you are seeing that people actually did that. And for 9 years, Nobody saw them in Nigeria. Baba translates that 300 million. This is just one spot. Oh. This is not 700,000 barrel capacity we are talking now. 750,000 barrels a day. In 10 days, that is a 7.5 million barrels. In 30 days, if my mathematics is not that rotten, because I'm so terrible in that mathematics, okay? So 7.5 million in 30 days, we will end up giving you 22.5 million barrels. 22.5 million barrels stolen in Nigeria conveniently, comfortably, and here you are. The poverty capital of the world. Because even when the little they left for you to be used to take care of you finally gets into their hands, they still fail to deliver that. So let us all act like we are surprised. Oh, I'm so surprised. How is that even possible? Hey, in this day, oh, come on, man, drop it. It is business and it is going to get worse. Good enough for the people of Niger Delta. The owners of the now security men discovering oil installation here and there. I mean, come on, man. It is the system, a system that encourages criminality this way, a system that encourages profiteering. Is a system that is meant to ruin. Listen to me. It is an Armageddon in the waiting. We can keep kicking the can down the road. Let us try another person. Let's try another one again. Oh yeah, let us try this again. You are just kicking the can down the road. Everywhere around you, you are just a disaster waiting to happen. Maybe not by your complete consent, so to say, but mostly by your ignorance and every other thing, every other jara that they have used to blind you to continue to shout, oh, Nigeria is going to be great one day. These characters don't want Nigeria to be great. These are not the ingredients of a great country or a would-be great country. Tell yourself that truth. I mean, be honest. And stop living just in the moment. You know what I mean? They call me revisionist. You like to the revision. You just like to go back and go back. Because if you don't, not learning from history means that we are prone to repeat the same thing. And if you have nothing to learn from history, by the way, at least learn the agony, learn the frustration, learn the brutality, learn all of this assault that the system has actually meted on you, enough for you to look back and say, oh, have I learned that? Have I actually learned something? Maybe not. So if you haven't learned from your history, you are bound to repeat them. And unfortunately, those who fail to learn from history, they are bound to become the victim of that same history repeating itself. And guess what? Many of those that we call and mention their names when we mention things that Nigeria has done and their victims and all that in the past, right? Many of them are not even here to explain themselves and say, man, Orumoru, I wish I never actually believed in this and stood for something even more fairer, something more just, something more equal, something more explainable. That is Yoruba nation, Biafra nation, Arewa nation. These are not stigmas. It is what you are. If you don't embrace it and you continue to embrace this wrong identity, look at this. That is the Nigeria they want. Is that the Nigeria you want? Because you can continue to pretend, we can continue to say, I'm so surprised. I am not. No, I am not. But it's up to you. So, because you see, one of the failure of Nigeria is the fact that the people who wants to be in charge of Nigeria, they are not trying to be in charge of Nigeria because they care about anyone or anything. They care about themselves and they are not hiding it. Foreign policy. You see, everybody, Nigeria is they abandoned us. And look at how Dubai is treating us. Look at how the UAE, look at what they are doing to us in Europe. Look at what they are doing to us in Asia and all of that. Nigeria cannot come in and, story, man, drop it. It's one of the reasons because they are not interested in you. No, except for the optics, except for the showmanship. You are just statistics in their book. If they don't see you as humans and they see you as numbers, or you probably have no idea that it is more demeaning than anything people have told you before. When your system, when your country actually sees you as a number. Oh, how many are they? The Igbos are not going to vote for it. How many are they? The Yorubas are not going to them. How many are they? Oh, the Christians, and who are they? Serve. You know, that's the society they have for you. Nobody really cares. There is no real identity. There is no real patriotism. Nothing at all. But they are asking you to embrace a faceless identity that has created more chaos, rancor, division, hatred, vile, and all that. Yeah? Well, if you embrace this and know that Nigeria cares no hoot about you, whether you are in Nigeria or you are outside, though, until you care for yourself. There's been this flooding everywhere in Nigeria for the past 2 months. They say natural disaster. No be natural disaster. The people of Kogi, they have been underwater for weeks now. And it is not a state of emergency in Nigeria. Imagine if Paris is underwater. Or imagine if any part of UK right now is experiencing what they are experiencing in Nigeria. And that's not Kogi only. Let me show you some part of Anambra. You know what happened? They said there is this dam that is controlled by Cameroon. It's a big one. So whenever it's this what they call the torrential rain or this endless rain, yeah, the dam takes in a lot of water, yeah, and in order to avoid complete disaster, so they release the water. We are talking about millions of cubic of water. I don't even know that. I mean, I just mentioned that something way too much. I mean, a dam. Like say, they release the water way inside Osa in Lagos. So whenever they release the dam like that, more than 20 states in Nigeria that are on the path of that water, they will be washed off like that. Communities everywhere, yeah? And the water will endure until the water, they say, for example, the people around Calabar, Anambra, what do you call it, rivers, and all those places, Bayelsa, all this released water has caused flooding there. Properties, farms, lives lost as you are watching this video. So until the water is finally discharged into the Atlantic Ocean, and this can last for weeks. So Nigeria, giant of Africa, just let everybody die. If you live, fine. If you don't live, fine. Now just once in a year, you go recover later because it is Nigeria. They gave them an idea that they could build a counter dam next to the same border with Cameroon, whereby all the released flood water can be received by a stronger reservoir in Nigeria. You know what I could have done in retrospect? Sorry, I don't know what that means, but I'm talking about on the other hand, like, you know, if the disaster you are witnessing right now in Nigeria, if Nigeria was a country that prides itself as the giant of Africa, yeah, they will collect that water, okay, and that same water, rather than cause havoc, could be rechanneled into irrigation projects up north. The same one that they said climate change that is causing a drought, that is causing a famine, and the rest of that, and there's no water up north, is the reasons why, I mean, it's one of the reasons why the Fulani armed terrorists are invading southern Nigeria, because they need to give their cows water. Here you are, water in abundance, none to drink, not even for cow, none for agriculture, but we are calling on God to come and save us. 2022, Anambra.
global warming kicking back, and the confluence of the two great rivers of the Niger and Benue overflowing.
I don't have the numbers of.
That is actually Kogi. There is one for a number I'm going to put up here now, okay? Now, it is just to let you see what people are going through there. This particular one is copyrighted, so I can't really show it all, okay? But you see the beginning of it, that's Kogi there, underwater. The communities in, how did I miss the name? There are few communities in part of Anambra, Enugu, and all these areas who are on the pathway of this water. And as we speak, they are on their own. People of Benue, you know they call Benue food basket of Nigeria. There are bigger farms who have lost hundreds of millions. And guess what? That has also is now contributing more to the food inflation and so many other things that people are going through right now. But they are not making headlines in Nigeria as we speak. So I think, give me a sec. I am going to put us on a short hold, by the way. If you are still here, I'm going to be back in a minute.
Mr. President, welcome. And I've been a student of Nigeria for many years. And first of all, I want to tell you that I have never seen such a hopeful attitude toward Nigeria and the United States as since your election. So I think we all here want you to succeed. My question relates to another area of Nigeria that hasn't gotten much attention during this trip, and that is the Niger Delta. It's a challenge that you're going to face. I wonder if you would tell us how you intend to approach it with particular reference to the amnesty, bunkering, and inclusive development. Thank you.
Inclusive government. Inclusive government. You know, how you include, women, youth. I see.
Yes. I hope you have a copy of the election results. Naturally, constituencies, for example, that gave me 97%, cannot, in all honesty, be treated on some issues with constituencies that gave me 5%. I think this is a political reality. While certainly there will be justice for everybody, everybody will get his constitutional right. But while the party in constituencies where they either share hard work, they made sure that they got their people to vote and to ensure their vote count. They must feel that the government has appreciated the effort they put in putting the government in place. I think that's really fair.
Just a reminder. Okay. So I also have a final one to put before we call it afternoon today. And we can possibly meet later tonight where we can take calls. Somebody sent this to me and it didn't go down. It probably didn't go down well with the Emilocons. On this, I can then call it good afternoon, and I will see you later tonight.
Àmọ́ ó dá mi lójú gbogbo ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ti mọ̀ bòódì gan. Bàbá ṣe rí Akínlábí mo lè sọ́yà àbátọ́dá nígbà tí ń bẹ ní rẹ́ẹ̀pù ńgbà kan. Àwọn Akínyẹ̀yẹ́ wọ́n láwọn fẹ́ ṣe ọ̀nà àwọn sọ́spẹ́ẹ̀dì di yunifásitì lọ́dún wo níbo ní ti ń jẹ wọ́n láwọn ti gba kọ́ńtíráàtì ọ̀nà akínmọ̀ọ́rìn déédéé dọ́bà níbo ní ó ṣe sí bọ́bọ̀ wá náà tẹ́ ẹ bá ní kí n tú kẹ̀kẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀lẹ̀ wọ́n sọ pípọ̀ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ wọn bàbá àmọ́ Bọ́lá Tinubu tí wọ́n fẹ́ máa wí bàbá tó jẹ́ wípé mo ti ẹ̀ gbọ́ pé wọ́n pé kálukọ́ wa mọ́ tọ́bọ̀ wé pé kò sí wàhálà wọ́n ti gbé bàbá pamọ́ ibi wọ́n máa gbọ́wọ́ gbọ́nsẹ̀ bí àwọn tí ń hun sọ ọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀pẹ̀ dẹ́dẹ́dẹ́ rẹ̀ ló wúwo bí irin bàbá ebi ń pa wá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ rántí pọ́jà kẹsàn-án jóná ìgbó jóná gbogbo èèyàn ní káànú àwọn èèyàn tó wó wọn jóná tẹrù wọn jóná Bọ́lá Tinubu ò rí píìnì kó fún wa nílùú Ọ̀yọ́ Aláàfin ẹ̀yin èèyàn ọjà jóná nílẹ̀ Haúsá Bọ́lá Tinubu gbóbi ń dẹgbẹ̀gbẹ̀ owó ó gbé fún wọn nílẹ̀ Haúsá ebi ń para alé ebi ń para oko kòró dé gbogbo èèyàn mọ́lé Bọ́lá Tinubu wa bọ́ ó wà tírélà ọkọ̀ ráìsì ó wá lọ sílẹ̀ Haúsá ó ní kí wọ́n máa róúnjẹ sáwọn ọmọ Yorùbá àyèsè ran Bọ́lá Tinubu mọ́ àsìkò ti tó ní gbèbè yọ dẹ́kun yẹn jẹ ọlọ́gọ́ ẹ wá máa gbọ́ o torí ẹ̀yin èèyàn bójú ṣe ríre tá a fi jobi lọ́jọ́ ẹ̀dẹ́ mo nígbàgbọ́ pé lásìkò yìí tákìlá bí bá ti wọlé tán iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá yóò mọ lálẹ́ wù nílùú Ọ̀yọ́ ẹ̀dá bàbá bíbá tí ń dá àwọn tí ń dá kí gbogbo rẹ̀ ò tó rí bó ṣe yé orí ìní wọn ò kó fáwọn eré ìní iléeṣẹ́ òfin lálẹ́ wù nílùú Ọ̀yọ́ ibi ká gba kọ́ńtàtì ojú ọ̀nà wípé Ajímọ̀bí.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Maiyegun Diary politico.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Maiyegun Diary Maiyegun #1.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.